What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rewind That Chat, the podcast where time meets passion. I'm the engineer.
And I'm the dentist. And without further ado, let's get straight into this week's discussion.
The background, let's give them a bit of background to this. So the reference number for this is the SPB 409. It is a Seiko watchmaking 110th anniversary watch. It is a fully stainless steel watch. It comes in the option of a leather strap or a metal bracelet. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts. Have you seen the Rolex Explorer 2 that was released a couple of years ago?
Yes, I have, and I know where you're going with this.
Need I say more? It's a beautiful watch, I'll give you that. I do like it. I would happily have this in my collection. And that internal rotating bezel, I still need to figure out how to use an internal rotating bezel and when to use one. But it would be quite a nifty little feature to have, just something that stands out in the collection, something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Aside from all the chronographs.
Yeah, I mean, it is a beautiful timepiece, isn't it? I think it's a good size. Clearly automatic movement.
Yeah, but does it say which movement's featured in this?
Not on their post on Instagram, that's what I was looking at before. But
Okay.
yeah, people are complaining about it a little bit, actually. So,
Really?
yeah. So the general consensus for this watch is that people find it too expensive. I think the price point for this watch is about $1,500. Yeah, $1,500, yes. That makes it about 1,800 Canadian and probably about £1,300. So for
It's a lot of money.
It is, isn't it?
That much. It's not shy of a spring drive. Not shy off of a Grand Seiko quartz.
And in terms of movement itself, you'd rather have something like that, wouldn't you?
100%. I'd rather put that same money towards a Tissot, if I'm honest, or even a Hamilton.
Yeah, I think definitely in terms of aesthetic, beautiful. In terms of price point, got a bit of a situation there. But yeah, if money was no object and you just had a bit of cash to splash, would you cop?
If money was no object, I'd happily have this in my collection. But then again, if money was no object, I'd have a few timepieces which I'd feel scared to wear even, which is another story.
Let me rephrase that question. If you had a bit of money to spend on a brand new watch, we're not talking about breaking a bank. Let's say you've got £1,500 to spend on a watch. You can spend up to $1,500, or you can go, obviously spend less. What would you have?
I actually would be happy with this one, if I'm honest.
And the other question is, would you go Swiss or Japanese?
Oh, now we're asking the big questions.
Just for that price range, though.
Based on the look of this watch.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a purist or an elitist or a snob, but I would prefer to go Swiss, just because I know what some of the movements out there are capable of, specifically ETA.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And then me personally, I think I would probably go Swiss as well, but I would just take a Tudor or something like that instead. And actually, I'd probably go for a classic Tudor or a vintage Tudor instead. I really like the print state. And yeah, you can pick a vintage one up for about 1,500.
I can see each day you're edging closer and closer towards pulling the trigger, but you're just trying to hold yourself back, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not me, it's the world, it's the God. It's the watch God holding me back.
If it was meant to be, it'll happen when it needs to.
That's it.
But honestly, would you have this watch?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't personally pick it, but if it was there and I didn't really have anything else to try and buy it, then yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I would consider it.
Definitely. I have a question for you rather than a topic. How important or how much do you value watch brands?
Well, I'd like to think I'm not one of those guys who gets everything branded as very material, but that question comes down to how much I'm looking to pay for a watch. If I'm looking to pay multiple thousands of pounds or dollars, I would want this piece of metal or whatever it is that you're going to put on your hand one day to have some sort of significance, and I would want it to come from a reputable source. That's where I stand on that. So for me, it purely comes down to that. I think, for example, if I'm looking to spend 10k on a watch, I'm not going to spend 10k on a brand that's trying to start off drop shipping. Until they're fully established, it's not going to happen, because that 10k could go to something else. It just makes no sense. But if it comes down to me and, let's say it was 10k as a budget, I'm going straight in for an Omega, or I'm going for a Rolex, or I'm going for a Tudor or something like that. But that's what I would do. Even the Japanese equivalents like Grand Seiko, and you have other ones as well. But they're the main ones that come to mind. What about for you?
That's a very interesting way you put it. I agree with that, to be honest. I think it's one of those it depends kind of situations. Like you said, if you're going to spend 10 grand, you want that reputability behind it. But again, at 10 grand, you're most likely going to get an in-house movement with the bells and whistles, with precious metals involved, all the jazz.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the lower price points, let's just say £100, you're almost always going to get a Miyota, whether you go for a reputable source like Timex or any others, or if you just go to the micro brand, £100, £200, you'll get Miyota. If you go to a little bit more pricey, whether you go for Seiko, which of course will cost you 400, 500, probably 600 nowadays for the 4 or 35, or if you go to a micro brand, which is NH35, most micro brands which use NH35 will have the same spec sheet and they all offer the same piece in a way.
Yeah.
If you want to go a little bit fancier, let's even talk about Swiss movements. ETA, I think I mentioned this earlier. ETA is a powerhouse. They source movements to other companies. Breitling comes to mind. Longines comes to mind. I know Tag Heuer use them. I don't know if they still do now. I know Tudor used to use movements from ETA as well. Even Rolex used to back in the day. So
Yeah, but this is well, obviously this has changed ever since they've gone into in-house movements.
if they're willing to charge that much, you better believe they have to do some in-house for that price point at least.
The other thing is, if you're again, it comes down to price point, right? If I was paying that much money for a watch, you'd expect a lot back, wouldn't you? While as, for example, if you're looking at even if to spend like £200-300 or $400 as the equivalent, I would much rather buy a Citizen EcoDrive watch because I think they're amazing. I really like what they are.
That is a good point. But that kind of agrees with what I'm trying to say is that you're going from the point of perspective of the movement.
Yeah, I think me as a person, I value what you can give me for a specific price. So if it means that, okay, for 50 quid more or £100 more, I can get something, 5 times more value. Yeah, I've got to take my money. I'll go for it. But if there's like, actually, I'm not going to get something much more valuable in terms of what it's going to give to me, then I would be happy to spend slightly less. And I think that's where I stand. So that's how I spend my money generally.
So like input to return kind of ratio.
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to give me for my money? That's what I look at. I value value, if that makes any sense.
Okay, get that. I like that. That's a good approach, to be honest. It simplifies things a lot more because you're thinking cold in a way where it's the logical overdrive.
Yeah, I mean, the other way to think about it is, look, let's not go into cars too much, but just as an analogy, for example, historically, a Ford or a Citroen or something like that have not been known to last very long in terms of reliability, but a Toyota or an Audi or a BMW, like they are known to last longer, but they also cost a lot more. So it's trying to balance that, isn't it? I don't want to dwell on it, but yeah, just an analogy for you.
Yeah, that's a good take.
But
That's a healthy take, I'd say.
yeah, So what about you? What's your take on this?
My take. Well, I'm less of a logical kind of guy, that I'm more just easily led by passion or whim, so to speak.
More passion, more passion,
More
more
passion,
passion.
more energy. Just like the name of our podcast implies. All the watches I bought have not been because of monetary return or potential monetary return. They've all been because I saw them, I wanted them, and even after dwelling on them, I still wanted them.
But I'd say between the two of us, you're definitely more of the geeky one about the time specifics in terms of the metrics of the watch, let's say, or the capabilities. Well, I just want it to look good, and
Oh, it's
it's
so
probably
annoying because
I know. I'm sorry for that. I'm so sorry.
you're right. But the thing is, it's annoying because when someone says, "Oh, nice watch," my instant trigger is to go, "Oh yeah, it's featuring this movement. It's got the slimline monolithic, 80,000 beats per second." And the bottom line is, I just have to stop myself because I know that.
You're going
Oh,
over everyone's head.
exactly. Only a very small percentage will actually be interested in what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And with that, let's go on to the question I want to ask you now.
Yep.
So I was watching a couple of videos earlier this week, and my question to you, bro, is how would you value a watch that has had multiple incisions in it? So, for example, a,
In
a
incisions.
yeah. So let's say you've got a stock Royal Oak, right? Comes
Yeah.
straight from the AD, and it's just stainless steel. But then you see all these modded ones, which they are, because authorized dealers won't do this, or AP themselves won't do it. And a Royal Oak completely in diamonds and sapphires. How do you think that watch should be valued?
Oh, you mean the aftermarket modding?
Yes, exactly. So you say you put 14 carats worth of diamonds on there, but to do that, you've had to drill like 100 holes into the watch, into the.
To fit the diamonds.
How do you take on that?
My take is don't expect the watch to be worth any more. The moment you start drilling and modifying it, it is no longer factory set. It is no longer holds that prestige value. For example, you can apply that to anything. For example, Pokemon cards. The more pristine you keep them, the more value they hold.
But
Again,
so
with your cars, you can have stock classic cars. A stock classic car will hold more value, will be worth more than a aftermarket mod.
yeah, I think it's a similar take to you. But for example, if this Royal Oak costs 60k stock, right?
Yeah,
Just as an argument's sake, but then you put in 14k worth of VS or VVS diamonds or whatever it is, and those VVS diamonds, obviously they're quite small, but for argument's sake, they're worth like I don't know $70,000 on top of the 60k that you've already paid for the watch. So
yeah.
do you think now that watch is worth 130k?
Nope.
Yeah, okay. So what would you value that watch at?
Valuing a watch, I would say whatever you can manage to sell it for is what it's worth. And I'm pretty sure if you tell anyone, oh, this is not how it came from the factory, I've drilled holes in it to put my own diamonds in it, most people will turn away. Only a select few would actually be interested, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to sell that watch for more than what you originally paid for it.
So obviously in New York, Manhattan, you got the jewelry courses around the world, right? And
Yeah,
that one specifically, you have massive Wall Street kind of based on like watches and jewelry and things like that. Um, and it's crazy to see what goes through there every single day. I mean, I can only imagine just through the videos that I see on YouTube. But yeah, it's exactly that. These crazy watches that have been modded by these, I guess, professional jewelers, add in, carats and carats worth of sapphires, diamonds, and rubies, or whatever it is. Them thinking that the value of this watch is going to be X amount on top of the value of the diamonds themselves. That doesn't make sense.
if you're going from a logical perspective of, let's say, a buy weight situation, then it should theoretically raise in value if the diamonds are worth that value. But you also,
But you're destroying the watch. Technically, you're
exactly,
destroying the watch.
exactly. So if you're doing it for yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. If you know, okay, you buy this watch, you've drilled holes to put your diamonds, and you're aware that it's going to lose some value, and you're doing it just for the sake of yourself, and you want it because you enjoy it, nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it with the intent of trying to raise the value of it or trying to make it seem more expensive than it is, it's not going to work.
That's
Factory set diamonds are different because they are specifically arranged. It's the arrangement is calculated.
yeah,
It's not just a case of drill and plug.
yeah, 100% agree there. Definitely. I feel like a watchmaker has put some time and effort into this to create a perfectly balanced watch in their eyes, and to put these stuff on, and then the resale market is just crazy. I just don't know the numbers add up.
They don't.
Yeah, well, that's it. So yeah,
I put it this: factory set is a different ball game.
and that's why it costs more because they've
You'll
calculated it. It's done precisely, and it's done by design.
exactly that. If you look at Audemars Piguet, if you look at Patek Philippe, if you look at Rolex, the factory set diamonds they use are specifically shaped and specifically chosen to fit in that specific arrangement because that brings out the best in it.
Yeah,
From my perspective, anyways. If you disagree with me, if the audience disagrees with me, please let me know. Slate me if you like. I'm all for it.
yeah, yeah. We want to know what you think, guys. So yeah, please let us know what you think in the comments. The more honest and more open you are, the better it is for us because actually we can create a discussion around that. And yeah, we always want to know what you think.
And it will help us to grow as a channel and as people.
Yeah, like we said, we're building a community, so let's make that happen. But I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, this is Rewind That Chat. We hope that we can rewind this back to you. Peace.
Peace.